Okay, we're back. Sorry, everybody. We're back on live, Maurizio.
No worries. Let me just share it now. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So let's so we're talking about the weekly um bullish or bearish, right? So technically, in order to reclaim as a bullish sort of pattern, we need to sort of go over the 80,000 range, right? So we're still sort of in a mean reversion state. Okay. So that's why I'm still getting positioned, but I'm willing to take profits as soon as possible, right? In terms of things that I wanna trade towards the mean reversion. So there is from this level on, there is a possibility that we actually start breaking down, right? Especially with the news and things like that. So I think there is a high probability that we could start bringing retesting the lows, right? From that perspective, there is this is it definitely looks like a bearish structure. It's not even ranging yet because obviously we haven't actually discovered the bottom of the range. We only have if we say that this is the range lows, the 64,000, so we only tested it twice, right? But then the top we tested it one, two, three, one, two, three, even four, like five times, right? Over 5 weeks that we haven't been able to break. Okay. Now, that's sort of like a pressure cooking sort of deal, right? Because if it breaks, it's going to break hard, right? And from that perspective, right? I'm going to be on the sidelines basically, right? I'm not fully bearish yet, even though the structure suggests. But if you look this on the daily, right? This it looks still bullish to me, right? Like in terms of bullish in a way that this resistance we barely like if we're able to sustain this level here, that's when the if we have buyers at this level to be concise here, then we do have a chance of that breakout at least towards the 82 level. That's kind of the range that I want to sort of start taking profits at, right? On INA at least, right? Um, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment now. In terms of, give me 1 second that I had to switch screens. 1 second here. All right. Let's have a look at CBD volume and where we at. Okay. So in terms of CBD, and that was the main um, decision why we start taking trades, right? And obviously, you couldn't not anticipate that this trade was going to close. You cannot anticipate those things, right? So um, on Friday, we start seeing a lot of volume coming through, right? A lot of volume coming through at these levels at a 75, 70. So that gives me a little bit of, that's when you see that the movement is sustained by CVD volume. We still have the CVD volume there. They haven't sort of start selling, all right? So that's why I'm not fully bearish yet, okay? So unless I see a massive dump here of these CVD volumes, I'm still sort of sustaining my bullishness sort of deal. This could get volatile in terms of you start seeing a lot of long liquidations. So, but the interesting thing is the CVD is still there, right? Yeah, you do have a little bit of sell-offs here, but nothing massive, right? Nothing massive. Like if you see news, right, and bad news, you start seeing a lot of CBD volume coming through, like a lot of risk assets being disposed, and you don't see it, right? I'm not seeing it yet. not saying that's not going to happen, but if I don't see sellers here, yeah, price might go down, liquidate a bunch of perps, right? And then price will bounce up, right? That's basically a really, really good setup to be aware of. So I'm still on the bullish side of from that perspective. Okay. So based on that, right? Based on that, I start taking trades. Okay. And I've been discussing the list of the ones that I've been watching for a while. I wanted to go long on everything, to be honest, but you have to be aware of the geopolitical stuff, the news, all the sort of things that could shift dramatically. So whatever you do, right? And everything, and something that I mentioned on Friday is that everything was so freaking correlated. So it's basically taking the same trade across many alts. If you start going and getting position on every single alt, right? Everything is going to behave exactly the same on this environment. So be aware of that, right? Some of them are going to go more than others, right? But that's kind of the whole environment that we move in at the moment. Okay, so do I want to short at this stage? Not really, right? I'm actually just watching this very closely because there's a lot of short that might be piling up here, but and then it is going to create this kind of liquidation to the upside, liquidation to the downside. So at this moment, where the liquidity is heading, the liquidity is actually hunting for that for people that actually went long, right? And if they get liquidated, then actually you get that liquidity back and then start sort of rising all the way up. Is that going to happen? Who knows? We still depend on what's going on with Iran and all the sort of stuff. Okay, so yeah, that's basically where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately, there's nothing much to say that if we hold this level, it's going to get really interesting. So, things that I've been watching as well, and I've been saying this on Friday, is that liquidity, the dominance, the USDT and USDC dominance. Okay, from the daily perspective, started to look really good in terms of this USDT USDC dominance is, for those ones that don't know, it is kind of the cash. Like if because it's the dominance, it means that how much cash is in the system in terms of being in USDC or USDT, right? So when you start seeing this coming down, right, then it means that cash is going to assets, right? Is going to crypto at some stage, right? Either Bitcoin, alts, whatever, right? But when it starts moving to the upside, it means that people are cashing out, right? So it's still very early to say, but if you look at from a structure perspective, okay, like give it a take right there. We are on the verge. We're on the verge, kind of, right? So if this sort of is like bounce and bounce back, then we're going to see that pullback on alts. If this starts breaking to the upside, then means people are cashing out and things are going to get worse. You know what I mean? Like, but then obviously bear in mind that unfortunately this is a lagging indicator in a way. This is just to visualize where the cash is flowing, right? So I'm keeping a close eye on this, right? And if I start seeing like a bounce back, I'll be happy to keep my trade, my INA trade. And if not, I'll close it. Simple, right? Or well, you can do, let's talk about INA now. INA. Okay. So INA, we're almost at break even. You take a little bit of profit, unfortunately. It went all the way up here and retraced back. Now, the question is, do you close it now or do you wait for the bounce, right? So we are in a little bit of profit, just a little bit, right? So if we start seeing, you can either close it now, and then if we start seeing the bounce, you can actually reopen it. That's what I'll be watching today, right? To see if we get any sort of bounce today. It's hard to say if we do, because of what's going to happen over the weekend after the market is open, right? If we have a look at IBIT, right? IBIT still looks pretty good so far. I don't know if he's going to gap down on when market opens. The S&P 500, it looks still good, very good, I would say. However, is this going to be priced in? You know what I mean? Like, people are going to start shorting, and that's going to fuel it up. So very uncertain times. The VIX actually looks amazing, but it's funny enough that all this shit happens over the weekend, right? Like, I've been saying it, like all this news that now they happen over the weekend. Markets are closed. The only market that is open is the crypto market. So how the market is going to react and open, that's gonna be interesting. So unfortunately, that's kind of where we at, right? So there's nothing much for me, but I'll be very keen in terms of going long on things that I saw that has a lot of interest. So CC, let's talk about CC. CC has been on this range for ages. We got to stop down on a small thing a while back, but I'm still keen to get back on this one, right? As you can see, this one is been holding quite good, right? The fluctuations. The problem right now with leverage is things could get really volatile, right? Really, really volatile. So I'm tempted to starting accumulating CC for the fact that I'm seeing how this one is behaving, especially on back news. And when volume comes around, right, when you can actually start seeing that all the strong stuff are going to go first, right? So that's on CC. Hype, of course. Now Hype is now going in a full retrace kind of deal, but still looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty good. So 40 is the level between 40 and if market holds right here, that could be a really good bounce for continuation. Are we going to have a continuation? I have, you know what I mean? Like, it's very hard to say. It looks that way. If you ask me, like, if it's there, it was no geopolitical factors involved on this, only based on price action, right? I will say that CVD is there. I'm not seeing a lot of spot being sold. So this guides to be that this might be just a pullback, but we have to add into the mix that we have the geopolitical thing. That's why I'm not shorting. I'm not going long. I'm not shorting here fully because I see a lot of sustained price here, right? So that's kind of why if better off just stay still, kind of, right? SEC still in my eyes, and SEC I think is going to become very interesting. So there is this narrative I talked to you guys on Friday about the quantum and the security, like cyber security in terms of quantum and the new AI and new AI that affecting the security of cryptos and stuff like that. And SEC I don't know. This is a narrative. You don't. I don't know if it's true or not, but obviously SEC is supposed to be a quantum cryptography security token. And so I'm seeing a lot of that coming through, and I'm going to show you a tweet that happened over the weekend, and that's why a lead got affected. So based on that, I'm just doing a small list of the ones that might fit that criteria if the narrative sinks in. One is SEC, another one is Dash, right? So Dash is not doing great. That was the trade that I was going to take. Happy I didn't do it. I just picked two last week. Mon is another one. So Mon, that was the breakout. I'm still interested in taking this trade. Based on there is a lot of things going well with Monad. BCH believe it or not, that was the one that I was going to take last week as well. I'm still thinking about these entry levels are good. If I get it a little bit lower, that would be better. I haven't taken this one yet, but BCH, based on what I gave you guys on Friday or Thursday, it looks like BCH is going to be a rollout of uh, um, crypto security for quantum stuff, whatever, right? Yeah, but this is a narrative only. BCH hasn't implemented anything, and this is just stuff that people could catch on, and but this is not a long-term hold, by the way, right? This is just a trade if the narrative comes in. Okay, ENA, right? So ENA is different in that way because ENA, there is a lot of liquidity coming through. The TVL on ENA looks pretty good. That's why I decided to go into ENA. That's why I want to hold it a bit longer. At least, I wanna get at least around the 20 cents area profit, right? So that's basically my plan. Because if we have that momentum happening, you're gonna have a lot of short squeezes happening, right? And if we get that momentum, that's a really good time to take some profits. Same thing as Tau, right? If you took the Tau trade, that's the same sort of idea, right? And Tau is still going well. Well, not really, but Tau had bad news going, so unfortunately that broke that. So, but this is the plan on ENA, right? So I might just bump this stop to break even. The problem with bumping the stop to break even is if you get a stopped out and you get a bounce, you might, I might just start putting the stop loss a little bit up, right? Who knows? Let's see how market behaves at open today, and then I'll make that decision. But this is where I'm at. Probably, if I saw some people to profit. That's great. So at least you're there on that. And let me just show you Tau, because Tau was sort of the same thing. When things start breaking, you get a lot of short squeeze happening and move. It could move really, really fast, right? This is a trade that we took on Tau. We took most of the profits. Yeah, we've been taking profits along the way. I'm still holding some stuff on Tau here. Let's see if Tau recovers. If not, we already took profits on that one. But that's the same sort of behavior on ENA. Okay, so ENA, I was looking at Ondo as well. So Ondo, I didn't go in Ondo here. I was still ranging. So let's see how the market behaves, right? But these are the ones that I'm sort of watching closely, right, on this pullback. Okay, if this is a pullback. So besides that, Arrow as well. Let me add that there. So I want to add Arrow because the problem with Arrow is really volatile to either direction. The good things about Arrow is I think this is a pretty interesting time to buy here if we get it. You could actually do a spot on this one. They are having some upgrades on the network and some announcements, and I think they're going to add revenue into the token and a lot of things that it could catch another narrative, right? So this is on the list as well. That's it. I'm still, fuck man, this is the one that I really didn't take at this level, at the $5. I wanted to get it here. We didn't get it, and then it's kind of out of it's already too high, unfortunately. I don't know if any of you guys took VVV. But yeah, unfortunately I missed that. But it is what it is, right? So that's it, guys. That's essentially what I'm seeing at the moment. Now the bad news, and why we got hit on late. Yeah, there is this post here. This guy, this is good. So Kelp DAO is being hacked, and due to the fact of AI and a lot of hackers using AI and things like that, DeFi is being a target of AI for the past month or something like that. So this is the list of all the hacks that happened in the last 2 weeks, which is significant, right? So this is going to put a lot of pressure on the DeFi market in a way. I'm starting seeing a lot of stuff in terms of security, quantum security. And with the release of, I don't know if you guys have heard about Mythos, the Anthropic new model. Have you heard about that one? Everybody's
Isn't that the
quiet.
one that can force its way inside and it can just bypass securities and hack away and do what it wants?
Exactly, man. So obviously that Mythos model is no one has access, only the big companies. So that could be an interesting thing for DeFi, right? So exactly. But that's the Mythos is, yeah, it's been helpful in the public, but is that really, right? Who will have access to it? All that sort of stuff is very hard to control once. So and these hacks have been done with just regular models. Okay, so yeah, so that's why I think it's a little bit of pressure on DeFi. That's why Lit actually got hit in terms of it's not there. Unfortunately, we got it stopped out. With it's worth having the stop loss, and you're never going to get 100% rate on these ones, but I still like it, right? I still Lit. I bought a spot and I bought a trade, so I bought two spot and my leverage trade. A spot I'm still holding, right? I'm okay to buying at one. And the trade obviously that stopped out, but that's why I think we have DeFi under pressure a little bit. Okay. And yeah, unfortunately, man, and I'm still tempted to get on VVV, even though on this price. I bought for my person. I don't know. Do you guys know what VVV does? I did explain it, but I can explain it again. And I think, all right. So for those who don't know, VVV is called Venice AI. Okay. So Venice AI is a platform, a decentralized platform, okay, of AI. You could actually get models that are, all the models that you can do, you can actually action those models through Venice. The good thing is one is the privacy is they don't take any data from you. Two, you can run uncensored models. So censored, like that's stuff that no one controls, right? And uncensored, you can do anything from porn all the way to hacks and all the way to different shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously a lot of all those models out there, OpenAI, Anthropic, they have what they call guardrails. Okay, security, legal, all those guardrails. Uh, in VVV, you can find models that are not. So that's dangerous, but that's depends how you use it. You can use any tool in the world. You can have a hammer to kill someone, or you can have a hammer to actually build a house. So there's a lot of interesting stuff on VVV. And if you hold the token, right? If you hold the token on VVV, they give you credits, right? And it's called DM to use for your AI purposes, right? So Anthropic, you pay $200 a month, and then you get certain usage, and if you go over, you pay extra. With VVV, if you hold the VVV token and you stake it, they give you DM that you can use for credits to use on your account, give or take, right? So that's what they do, right? So if you use, I think I use it. But that's why it's hard for me to do a trade on these ones, because I'm involved and you can use credits on it. So I'm not planning on selling or anything. But then I just want to get a good trade in on this one either. But that's why I'm so keen on VVV. VVV has performed really really well for the past. Market down. This one is still going strong. Obviously, buying at 9, it feels awkward. But yeah, that's kind of the whole take of VVV. So, man, yeah, I don't know what else, but a lot of things, yeah, depends on this geopolitical stuff. So I'm not looking to buy anything, but I'm on the verge to see everything as a pullback, right? So far, as of today, let's see how the market closes on like in half an hour or so per se, and then we'll see. But I'm still not thinking long term, still thinking very short term stuff, right? So that's why I'm holding off, and I'm holding off on a lot of stuff. But I'm not in the short side yet. Yet. That doesn't mean I might in the next couple of hours, depends on the behavior of that. But I think a lot of things are going to be decided on New Year session, right? So New Year session is going to be key. Also, we have FOMC meeting this week. Also, is going getting closer to the end of the month. So yeah, things are going to get really volatile. So I'm not keen to start getting position. If I'm able to start, if things move to the upside on INA, I'll start probably get some profits early. That's basically the only thing that I might start doing, and move the stop loss, and whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of my game at the moment. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything else, but crypto is shit, man, at the moment. It's been really, really hard to trade, man. Very, very hard to trade.
I got a question for you, Mauricio.
All right.
When are these real world assets? When are we gonna see those come online in a way, and potentially, and I'm not talking my usual over the top now, right? It's
Yep.
just,
Yep.
you've got um was it Goldman Sachs? It was one of the banks or somebody that said by 2030, so not that far away, that there's going to be X amount of billions,
Mm-hmm.
from real world assets. So they seem very exciting. They seem a huge liquidity thing. They also seem another almost like there's a main thing built into them. Because if I understand this real world assets correctly, I
Yep.
could create the Ian Community Manager token.
Yep.
And then if you wanted to buy into that, like, so, everything can be tokenized.
I agree. I agree. Here's where we are with that, and this might take. Obviously, I don't know, but if I have to give you an answer, I agree. I'm very big on RWA. I'm putting the screen the RWA, coins. Okay, but here's what I'm. All this RWA stuff is still in a way DeFi mode, and the fact that we have a lot of security issues with DeFi still is going to be, that's the next technological challenge that these companies will face, right?
Mhm.
I still believe that RWAs are going to be the future in every single sector, right? And obviously, which one of those ones you like? The one that that's why I'm keeping an eye on Ondo, right? And because Ondo is one of sort of the institution that the ones that institutional know and have the better sort of technology out there.
Mhm.
But I'm keeping an eye on some of them. For instance, Syrup. Syrup looks interesting, right? It does have an interesting technology behind it, and so those are the ones that I'm. But definitely, I will say that obviously Dusk, I wouldn't trust it, man. This is so fucking volatile. As and this is the thing that you're playing right now. You're playing the game, you don't know what's real. You don't know what market makers are fucking doing. So remember last week, let me just show you this. This is what we need to be aware of. Rave. Remember Rave that I showed you last week? Look at this shit, man.
Mhm.
Look at
Look
this
at that.
fucking shit, man. This is dodgy ass, right? From fucking 1 all the way to 28 in a couple of days. And then in 3 minutes just dump, kind of, right? Like, let me bring this back to 30 minutes and you'll see. Look at
Look
this
at
thing.
that.
Look at this stuff, man. And this is the
Mhm.
stuff right now that is really hard. There's no liquidity out there, man. Unfortunately. right? There's no liquidity, so the crypto, the long-term holding is actually very difficult now. So I think I'm actually start shifting a little bit because I think we might do well if we start sort of scalping the shit out of everything, man. You know what I mean? So but there's more time and screen. That what's the downside of this, right? The downside is that we're going to have more time on screen. You need to be aware when to exit. You need to start managing your positions more regularly. It's a lot of implications on that regard, right? If we go down to that route. But things like that, things like fucking bio hit us hard in YF10 on Thursday. On Friday, we were trading this and it hit us hard again. Fucking liquidity grab kind of thing. So that's kind of the environment that we are. And when I start seeing a lot of this stuff happening, right, you basically, it's very hard to trust any long-term things on low liquidity assets, right? Well, things like ENA or things like, more like ETH or things like that, it's harder to see these kind of moves, right? Audi, have a look at Audi. Audi went up 100 and something percent and died completely. So I'm seeing a lot of this crap happening again. So I just done yeah, hands off the wheel basically, right? Like whenever I have not a very good read, but that doesn't mean that I'll be really keen to get into these ones here. That's basically the list that I'm sort of picking, right? I might put more in there, like Sui as well. I like it. But so far these are the ones here. So
Nice. Really nice, man.
yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, let's see what happens this week, guys, and let's see if we can get any good movements. Well positioned, but yeah. Besides that, nothing else, man.
Awesome stuff. I'll see you in the group then, and
All right, guys.
looking forward to the updates during the week. Thanks,
Have a good
Maurizio.
day. Bye bye.
Ta-da.